What's going on, guys? It's Friday, game week 12, and football is finally back. Praise the fucking Lord. No more international football now until March. We've got Big Sam alongside me. No Danny Whizbang today because he's a fucking melt. I don't know what he's doing, but he must be busy. But yeah, is your betting account ready to take a slapping this weekend, Sam?
I've told myself I'm not betting. But,
you told yourself, but
yeah, I've told myself, but we'll see what the odds are saying. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and minimize that this week because the Premier League's the worst thing to bet on.
Oh, it's awful, isn't it? Because you literally never know what's going. I think if anything you've learned from these kind of predictions, it's you never know what's going to fucking happen. There's crazy results, and you've got a lot of interesting games this weekend. So before we dive into those predictions, any players specifically that you would keep an eye on, maybe to captain, maybe someone who's could stand out in form. You know, you look at the games that are going on. For example, Leicester's and Chelsea's, Arsenal's and Forest. Anyone at all? City and Spurs as well?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm going to go straight to that one. I think Haaland's just come off a hat-trick. So he's back scoring. Scored 4 goals in them 2 games. So hopefully, I'm not going to have to change my captain. I'm just going to leave it as Haaland again, like most people are doing. Yeah. But, yeah. Other than that, Liverpool, maybe Mo Salah. Just the general players.
The guaranteed geezers is what we call them. Remember, with these predictions, you have one banana skin and one barn burner to use for any of them. So just remember that as you're going through them with ourselves. We'll kick off with the early one, Sam. Never back the early kickoff is what they say. Leicester versus Chelsea. Leicester, you can only go off your last game, right? They played United. Didn't look great. I don't think they had a couple of opportunities. But apart from that, we know they're going to be kind of relegation contenders. Chelsea went into the break with one draw with Arsenal, and I've actually done pretty well against the big teams. So I'm not calling Leicester a big team, but I'm just saying recently they've done decent. Do you expect Chelsea pretty clean win here?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was looking at the stats over the last 5 games. Chelsea have actually only won 1 in the last 5, but they've actually played like the likes of United, Liverpool, Arsenal. They've had some tough games in there, and they're not really getting beat really like on a regular basis anymore. So I think they will be up there definitely. And I see Leicester as someone they should comfortably get in over the line with. They've got goals throughout the team, and Kunku's even scoring. On a weekday, he's on the bench. They've got options there. So yeah, I do reckon it'll be quite a convincing win. But yeah, we'll see if Palmer is going to play as well because he's another doubt.
Do you think he's the difference between Chelsea making top 4 potentially and not Cole Palmer?
Yeah, no, I do. I think without him, it's such a huge loss, and I feel even the fans will think that as well. But then again, they've got the Yao Felix to throw in there. I do think they're going to be too much to handle, and I do think it's going to be at least 2 or 3-0. I'll probably say 2-0.
It's weird because when you have an international break, and especially when it's the early kickoff, you've always had that bit of lag, don't you? A bit of chance for a team to maybe capitalise on that. Because Chelsea have got way more internationals, I'd imagine, than Leicester, who have gone away. Like Jamie Vardy, he's not going away, is he? And guys like that. So I don't know if it'd be as convincing as that. I'd probably go more of like a 1-0 or a 2-0 potentially, or a 2-1. But yeah, we'll go with those. You say 3-0? Is that your final one?
Yeah, no, I'd probably say 2-0. But like I said, Palmer's pulled out of the internationals again, so we don't know whether he's playing or
He'll
not.
be red there.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I seen him with Central C the other day. He was the best life on it. So yeah, he's probably just resting up in it. To be fair,
definitely is. Right, 3:00 kickoffs. Fulham versus Wolves. I think Marco Silva is one of the most underrated managers in the league. Just personally, I think he's doing a really good job with Fulham at the minute. Wolves, likewise with Gary O'Neill. I actually rate him as a coach, but for whatever reason, they've just not really had the rub of the green. But they did get a win over Crystal Palace before I think we went for the international break. Yeah, so does that set it up to make it a little bit more interesting?
Yeah, I mean, if we was asking last year, we'd say this is a 50-50 game, wouldn't we? Really?
Yeah.
Fulham have obviously, putting together, better results. They're having a good start to the season. Wilson's coming off the bench, trying to get a start now, scoring goals.
Yeah.
I think they're sitting like 6th or 7th in the table. But like I said, Wolves on the back of a win. Cunha, the difference, and I called it last week as well.
You did.
Cunha could be the difference. He's a really good player.
Would you have him at United?
Yeah, I would have him at United.
Would you?
But then again, I'm not saying he's someone that I would want to lead the line.
Maybe more of a rotational option.
Well, yeah, but I think
you'd rather have him than Xerxes, wouldn't you?
Yeah, million percent. So I think he would be there and thereabouts with Højlund for who's starting 1,000,000%. Yeah. He's done it in the Bundesliga as well with Leipzig as well, hasn't he? But yeah, I was just going to mention that Bueno for Wolves. I think he's injured. I think he's out. I think he's been there. One of their best players.
Bueno, did you say?
Bueno.
Oh, Bueno.
Centre back. Yeah.
Oh,
I believe.
Right, okay.
I was reading up that he's probably going to be out, and he's been like one of Wolves' key players. So I'm swaying with Fulham just because they're at home and they're in better form. But like I said, I do think Wolves will get out of this relegation battle. In the next few months. 2-1 and go into Fulham.
I'm going to draw me. I think 1-1.
Yeah, I can see a draw as well.
Speaking of draws, Everton versus Brentford. I always back them when they're Everton are at home. I always feel like they'll get a draw against a team like that. But Brentford's record against the bottom 10 is like 100% so far this season. They've only lost to big teams like Liverpool and Tottenham. Big team. So maybe Brentford just edging it potentially.
Yeah. Tough game, man. Tough game. We said Everton. This is where they're going to get the points at home against, let's say, not a top team. Let's say they just can't score goals though. That's the only worry that I have with Everton because Brentford will score goals against you. They're scoring like 2 a game. Yeah. Wissa and Burmo, like you said, proper players that are on form that have got goals, like bags of goals in them. I do think Brentford will win that game, just maybe 2-1.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
2-1. I'm going to go with that one, mate. But I reckon that could be one of them games that could be potential barn burner. There could be loads. Just because Brentford, I just feel like they're the team that are just going to give you 5-star rating game every week.
Yeah. Wasn't their last game against Bournemouth, weren't that like a 3-2 or a 4-3?
3-2 against Bournemouth, yeah. And they were losing. They were down 1-0, 2-1. You know what I mean? Like they don't give up. They either start fast or they end fast. You know what I mean? So yeah, I got Brentford.
Okay, that's the first one we've agreed on, I think. The next one's one of the standout fixtures of the weekend: Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. I really don't know. I know it's Arsenal at the Emirates. But Forest have done so well. They beat obviously Liverpool at Anfield as well. One team really overachieving and one team's been underwhelming, hasn't they?
Yeah, 9 points behind Liverpool now. So if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be thinking, what's going on here? You know what I mean? They're already calling for Arteta. Some of the YouTubers, which I think is absolutely crazy. But I think they need to be winning against the likes of Forest, even though they're doing exceptional already this season. Forest at home, you've had a couple of weeks off there. I think they should be
players back as well, aren't they? Ødegaard and guys like that.
Ødegaard's back, but they've got Trossard, they've got Saka who picked up a knock on his groin towards the back end of the last game. So I mean, you don't know whether he's going to be involved, but I still think at home they should be winning that. So I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. Yeah, do you know what? The more I think about it, Arsenal at the Emirates with these players back, if they don't win like that, a 2-0 or at least a 2-1, I'd be really worried about them. I know Forest have been doing well, but you've got to be.
I mean, I think Forest, they've just been beat against Newcastle, aren't they? So they've just had a bit of humble pie there. I think realistically, if they finish in the top half, at least they'll be over the moon, won't they? So I think you will probably start to see the likes of them getting beat against Arsenal. Especially at the Emirates.
Yeah, I can see Arsenal turning up. I'm going to go 3-1. Arsenal.
3-1, yeah.
I can see him turning up. Yeah.
I just can't. Chris Wood is scoring. I was going to say I can't really see him.
That's why I've gone with the 1 because because of the form that he's in.
And they are scoring goals as well, Forest, mate.
He scored half of his team's goals this season, Chris Wood.
Yeah.
Like, smashing it.
Yeah, old school.
All right, I went 3-1. Bournemouth versus Brighton, another banger on the South Coast. I think we could have a 2-2 here. They've both beaten big teams. There's only 3 or 4 points between them. What are we saying?
I'm saying this is I know I mentioned that one could be a barn burner, but this is the one I'm going to go for.
I think so.
Bournemouth and Brighton. You know, just goals everywhere. Brighton on the back of a huge win against City. Even when they conceded, they were getting beat 1-0 to come back and get that win. The way they did it as well, with lovely football, like cutting through Manchester City, you don't really see that. The likes of Welbeck, Mitoma, Hedgerow off the bench.
Cooking.
You know, they are.
Belieber's a sick player as well for Brighton.
Who's that? Sorry,
Belieber for Brighton.
Belieber, yeah.
Serious player.
These South Americans are just coming into the Prem and they're on it, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they really pick up the Prem speed. You know,
physical
like
as well, innit?
What I mean, yeah.
So what are we going?
2-0 to Brighton.
2-0. You don't think Bournemouth will score?
I don't know, you know, because I've just made that out of barn burner and my score's not.
Yeah, don't mirror it.
Yeah, it's not mirroring it. I'm gonna stick with it anyway. I'm gonna stick with it. 2-0.
Okay. I think it will be. I'll go 2-2 or 3-3 because that is a barn burner. Both teams going at it end to end. I can see that happening. Villa and Palace. You'd expect Villa at home to get this done comfortably. Do you think any different?
No. Yeah, like I said, Palace, they can't. Another team that's struggling to score 8 goals, 1 win from 11, and that was at home. So they're obviously going to Villa Park. I've gone 2-0 to Villa.
Yeah.
Watkins obviously got a goal against Greece. He's back on the score sheet, but he's not scored in the Prem for about 5 games. So, you know, hopefully that goals give him a bit of a boost and he can start scoring for him, because Villa, they need to start getting a few points together now. They're near the middle of the table. They're not really picked up where they left off last season, have they really?
No. I think 2-0 Villa as well. It's one of those fixtures. It feels like a guaranteed. I don't think there'll be a banana skin in there. I don't think Palace have been nowhere near impressive enough to even convince me of that, or half convince me of it. So I'll go with that. 5:30 Man City versus Spurs. Arguably the game of the weekend that a lot of people will be watching. Spurs, usually a bogey team for City. In the last 5 games, City have only won 2. But you have the news of Pep extending. You have the Rodri Ballon d'Or presentation. It's at the Etihad. Does that how much does that weigh in their favour?
Yeah, it does. They've lost 4 in a row. Are they gonna win? Are they gonna lose 5 in a row?
Nah.
I mean, I'm not having it either. I'm not having it either.
No
Pep signing a new deal. I feel like that's just to try and get some momentum in the in the squad at this point.
Yeah.
Why is it only 1 year? It doesn't make sense. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, I've gone for City 3-1. But then again, this could be banana skin as well with what Spurs can do on any given day and what City are going through at the minute. So,
mate, Spurs are. Talk about trying to predict a team.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, beating Villa 4-1, losing to Crystal Palace, losing to Ipswich, and then like giving over. You never know what you're gonna get.
That Ipswich game got me so mad because they were the only team again that let me down on a accumulator. And how many people had them as their like, yeah, that's a gimme.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So many people would have
at
lost
home as well, weren't they?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, because Ipswich were in a pink kit. I'm pretty sure Tottenham were at home. So losing at home to Ipswich, they're then picking up their first win of the season. Madness. Score. What are we saying score-wise?
3-1 to City.
3-1.
And hopefully Haaland can get a few goals because
I think Spurs will definitely score.
Yeah.
I think Spurs will definitely score, so they'll have 1. I'll say City 2-1. I think it'll be a little bit closer.
They can't keep a clean sheet, can they? City?
No, terrible. Defensively this season, honestly.
Awful, yeah. They're putting Simpson Poussey?
The youngster.
They're throwing him in, aren't they?
They're chucking him in, and he's getting. Well, he's not. It's fair. He's not done too bad, but he's His name don't help him, does it?
Yeah,
Poos?
no, that's what I mean. I know. We'll call it Poo Safe for the cameras.
Yeah, for the content, we'll bleep that out. Southampton versus Liverpool. Will they be a Poo say against Liverpool? Because I feel like they're gonna get slapped on here. I think this is a 3-4-0 Liverpool flying at the minute.
Liverpool, they just look like Rolls Royce at the minute. They just don't really have a kink in the kind of armour, really, do they?
No.
You know, they're putting the chances away, and even when they're not playing amazing, they're clinical with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Controlled. Everything's controlled and like perfect, and they've not had a tip up yet. Nothing's gone wrong. It's just like smooth.
I mean, they got beat against Forest, didn't they? But since like that was like an off day at the office, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've gone 3-0 for Liverpool. Yeah, and it's first versus last place, so
it's got to be.
I think that should reflect that.
Yeah, I agree. I'll go 3-0. No, you know what? I'll go 4-0 because I think Liverpool could score quite a few against these, especially if it starts the way Southampton play. Yeah. I think they're so open and expansive. Their forwards will just pick them off in the form that they're in a minute. Yeah,
Southampton, like they've really got this possession-based style, which we've seen last season again with Burnley. Yeah. And it just doesn't work, does it? Because you know when you're up against the likes of Van Dijk and Konate, you can have as much possession as you want. If you're not going to be decisive with passes and you know create the right chances and then finish them, you know they can sit back all day against teams like that.
A lot of people moan at Sean Dyche for like the way he operates in the Premier League, but if he keeps you up in comparison to like a Burnley or a Southampton, a club will much prefer that, surely, innit?
But then again, where did company go? Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So if you're a manager, to be fair, it's a good thing for managers to know that you don't have to just come up and play your long balls, your winning second balls, you know, you kind of bully football, and you can actually bring your style of playing, your philosophy into it, because it's, you know, we've seen it has worked. So I think that's a positive for it. But like I said, it's so competitive.
Yeah, I agree.
It's you know, it's one of them.
Yeah. Right, here's my banana skin then. Ipswich versus Man United.
Oh, man.
And the reason why... No, let me explain myself. So the reason why I've gone with it, I think Amarin's first game in charge, and there's 75% of me that's saying comfortable 3-1 win, a lot of positivity, a lot of eyeballs on the new structure and individuals who are coming into the team. But I feel like there's so much, everyone's just expecting it to go really well. And if you've watched United this season, you can't change them overnight. It won't be as straightforward as that, in my opinion. So it could be a banana skin, is what I'm saying, because I haven't used it yet.
New manager, you know, new ideas. We've seen the training videos. Massively impressed already, mate.
Yeah.
You know, you can see what he's trying to do, and he's implementing them wing backs. Looks like he's had Anthony on one of the wing backs. He's had Luke Shaw in left centre back. Even Yoro looks like he's, you know, playing in training now. So be interesting to see who he does start. But yeah, he's just got something about him, like the way he's just getting about in Manchester with his coaches in tracksuits.
Yeah.
You know,
cool, calm, and collected he is.
Yeah, he's just got this aura. And to be fair, you know, like Portuguese players, you know, players in general have taken well to the Premier League. You know, he's just got something about him. I've got a good feeling about him, mate. To be honest with you. So.
Okay, give me a score prediction.
I'm just gonna go a solid 2-0. 2-0. I think we're going to be steady at the back. And we'll get a couple of goals. Hopefully, Højlund can get on the score sheet, man, because I do want him to start, you know, pick this season off. I don't want him to get to Christmas and we'll be looking at the stats. Right, you've started 10 games, you've scored 2. Do you know what I mean? Because we know what the fan base is like. They can flip on you, and he has got something there.
Very raw, though. I think
very raw.
His touch is shit as well. He's got a bad first touch for a striker. Needs to improve on that.
It does need to improve on it, yeah. But he can finish, though. That's what I mean. Like he can create his own goals as well, can't he? We've seen him, you know, dribbling with the balls. You know, he's finishing. It's just that next game, man. And I'm rooting for the kid as well, man, because I think he's got a good demeanour about him.
When I've watched Amarin before Sporting, because obviously I've done analysis watching like sport in multiple games. The way the 2-10s play, so Goncalves and Trincao, if you watch them against City as well, they are just like a constant supply, like they're constantly around the striker. So if anything, if Rasmus has been struggling this season, Ten Hag had his wingers very high and wide, very greedy. There was no supply line there at all. It was cut off.
Yeah, exactly. Now, they're going to be like in the channels now, aren't they?
You're going to have Ahmad and Bruno operating right next to him, basically supplying it. So who knows? Who knows? He could just start.
Do you reckon he'll go Ahmad over Garnacho then? Do you reckon?
I think so. Yeah. And I would personally anyway, just because of what they offer. But I don't know. It's an interesting one because Garnacho's got the most goal contributions.
Yeah, Garnacho. What I mean. Maybe Rashford's going to play up front as well, to be fair.
Yeah, so Rashford is a 9, Garnacho maybe is one of the wing backs, but one of the wing backs is a bit higher up than the other one. So it's weird how it works, but I don't know. We've just literally filmed the preview for it now, done a live preview, and everyone was like, trying to predict the 11. It was like, fuck no.
Literally. No. We don't know what
I'll stick with a 3-1 United. That's what I predicted on the preview, but there's something in me that's a little bit of doubt, but I hope not. Let's just see.
We're off the back of a few decent performances as well, aren't we? So
yeah.
It's only going to be momentum and positivity. And Ipswich, like I said, they've won one game themselves, so I would be very, very surprised if we didn't, at least have a good performance, but if not, win, by a few goals.
Yeah, agreed. Right, let's do the last one of the weekend then. Monday Night Football, Newcastle versus West Ham. Newcastle at St James's Park. Historically, have scored a lot of goals against West Ham in the past 5 kind of fixtures. Straight slapping or tricky?
No, I don't think Newcastle are in a kind of position to be straight slapping anyone, to be fair. I don't think they've been amazing, have they? But like I said, it is a tricky one. Just because West Ham, they should be doing so much better than they are. I do feel like they should be turning up at some point.
But they've been dog shit, haven't they, West Ham?
But they have just been absolutely, mediocre. I've gone 2-1 to Newcastle. They are on back-to-back wins, to be fair, as well. Arsenal and Forest. But I don't think it's going to be the best of games, to be fair. Lopetegui, if he gets another few defeats, he could be gone as well.
Yeah, he's the next manager to go, I think, definitely. I think I agree with the boring narrative. I don't think that's going to be a barn burner or anything. I'd probably say 2-0 Newcastle win. I don't even see West Ham scoring me at all. I think, I
mean, Bowen's just got a goal, didn't he, for England?
Yeah.
Things like that, it can put players into,
it can give him confidence, for sure. But the international games, and I don't know. I never really translate it in my head as they'll do it for the team because different setups, different structures. And Lopetegui's a pragmatic coach, man. So boring the football that he plays. But yeah, I think I'm happy with those predictions. I think I can't remember what we did last week. We need to start reflecting on these and have a look because I know there was a couple. Yeah,
because we got a few right. You got one right.
Yeah.
You got the Brighton one.
City game. Yeah.
I got the Liverpool.
The Wolves as well. You got.
As well, yeah.
There was a few in there that we definitely got bang on. So yeah, and that's next time. I'll make sure when we do the predictions, we'll have it there and just start like a little league table if Weiry decides to fucking show up and he's watching.
Yeah. No worries, mate. Well, always a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. What do you make of our predictions, guys? Challenge us in the comments. Let us know which game you're excited for the most and which banana skin could potentially. I can't speak. It's been such a long day. Banana skin could potentially appear and where the barn burner could as well. Thank you very much for watching Real Reds Talk. Smash the like on the video, subscribe, and me and Sam will see you in the next one.